Hi, I'm Stewie3D, and I'm going to have a third crack at this live stream. The first two, my audio's been all over the shop. Maybe I should have tested that before I tried to go live on this. Right, well, that's the joys of doing things live. I don't like to record because if I record, the job will never get done because I'd be constantly faffing with it and deleting it and trying to perfect it, where, to be honest with you, it's never going to be perfect. So, right, in this live stream and subsequent YouTube and Twitch video, I'm going to just run through a few changes in the new Windows 10 Fall Creators update that should be hitting around about September time by all accounts. I'm currently using build 16251, which has just dropped into the Windows Insider slow ring. Now, basically, for those of you who don't know, Windows Insider is Microsoft's beta program, and there's three levels of it. There's release preview, which is basically the system's ready to go. We could deploy it now and there shouldn't be any major bugs. This is literally just finding the last little niggly bugs. And then there's slow ring, which is the stuff's mostly ready. Maybe one or two bugs. Shouldn't be anything that's going to completely break your system. And then you've got fast ring, which is install this, hope for the best. So I'm got the slow ring build because I kind of like having my laptop relatively stable, but then again I do like to play with some new features. And the one feature I've seen in screenshots but never really demonstrated very well was the new GPU feature in the Windows Task Manager. Now, before I formatted Windows, I did have various third-party apps, MSI Afterburner and the like, to have a to basically monitor the GPU. Well, now Windows does it as part of your task manager. I've not installed MSI Afterburner and stuff this time, so I've got no way of monitoring my GPU. But yeah, now Windows does it for you, which is pretty awesome, I think. So as you can see, I've got GPU 0 and GPU 1. So GPU 0 is my Intel HD 630, and GPU 1 is my NVIDIA GTX 1050. Now, as you can see, GPU 1 is currently being used quite significantly because I am using the hardware encoding part of it for my OBS stream. So currently, OBS is using 9% processor to do this stream, which is next to nothing, and is actually tapping the Intel HD to about 30–40%, which is pretty awesome, to be honest with you. And currently I've got GTA 5 sitting in the background, which is currently tapping the NVIDIA, as you can see. As it's not actually running, there's no performance going there, but you can see it's still hogging all the VRAM. So if I now fire up GTA 5, just to show you how the GPU monitor works, this should hopefully work better this time as well. I was on the second go. There we go. Way full frame rate. So as you can see, I'm now in GTA 5. I'm just driving about. The only downside of having the Windows Task Manager and where you might still want to have, say, MSI Afterburner and stuff is the fact that there's obviously no on-screen overlay. But basically, here we go. We've got it. Let's blow some stuff up. Really get the GPU working for a living. Oh, okay. Here we go. Blow everything up. There we go. The GPU is going to really be working for a living now. My settings on here are currently, if you have a look, bear with me, settings, we are looking at graphics. We should be using 2.35 meg. 2.35 gig, there you go, 2357 meg. So over my 2 gigabyte of VRAM limit. So, but there we go. So that's GTA 5 runner. So if I now Alt Tab out of it, and as you can see, there is my GTX 1050. And even though I was blowing the crap out of everything, where I've got VSync turned on to limit me frames and stop screen tearing, I hadn't even tapped my GPU to full usage. The VRAM was being used quite a bit, and obviously, as you can see, it's starting to hit into the shared GPU memory. So it just goes to show you how much the memory is being used. And obviously, it also answers the question I keep getting on a lot of my videos is, well, dude, you've only got a 2 gigabyte GTX 1050. How are you able to run these games over the 2 gigabyte limit? Well, this is how I'm able to use it. basically I've got 2 GB of dedicated VRAM there, 5.9 gig of shared VRAM, giving me a total of 7.9 gigabytes. So pretty deep. Yeah, that's how I can run well over my VRAM usage. So that's basically it. There, let me just move back into it and quit it down. So if I now exit the game, exit to the Windows desktop, bear with me. So yeah, there you go. The GPU is now plummeted back to 0. Everything's all dropped back down. So that's the NVIDIA now going to go back to sleep. It's not being used. And as you can see, whilst doing a live stream, I'm using very little in terms of processor wise. So as you can see, the Intel is still being used because obviously, you know, that I'm using it to encode the stream. But if we now look, and I just played one of my latest live streams, now actually see real time exactly how the video encoders are being used and decoders and how everything is being used, which is actually a really good idea, to be honest with you. I don't know why they didn't put this in earlier. For me, this goes to show that Microsoft are now starting to take PC gaming seriously as a platform. You know, they are really starting to put some effort into it. But as you can see, look, every now and again a little peak, but I'm nowhere near maxing out my 630. But yeah, it's pretty decent. Now the one thing where it's going to be very useful for me personally is because I have a dual GPU setup, i.e. the 630 and the 1050. 630 does everything day to day, and the 1050 takes over when it's needed. Now some games don't want to fire up the 1050, so a lot of emulators won't touch the 1050 by default. And oddly enough, Lego City Undercover, I went to run that the other day, and basically, yeah, it was like, why is this running like crap? And it turned out it was running on the Intel, so I had to manually go into the NVIDIA control panel to set it up to run on the NVIDIA. But having this, you know, is useful because it tells me, you know, exactly what GPU is being used, how much it's being used, and it's pretty. I like that. I think that's a really good feature and something that could be very useful for diagnostics in the future. As I said, we could have done this before with third-party apps, but I'm not the sort of person who likes to install a load of third-party apps on my system. So yeah, that's the new GPU monitor in the Windows Task Manager. Hopefully, that's been a quite a decent in-depth look at it because I've not seen many videos actually look at it. I've seen screenshots of it, but I've never seen it actually working. So yeah, it's pretty decent, and there's all sorts of different little menus you can get it to monitor as well. So the other gaming feature is under the gaming menu, which was introduced in the last creators update in the spring. Is game mode. Now, when they introduced it in the spring, you were able to disable it. There was a toggle switch there for on or off. That toggle has now been removed, and Microsoft have basically said it's up to the games developer to toggle it on or off for you. So you might find it being used, or you might, you know, there's no way now of knowing whether game mode's in use or not. So it could be a bit annoying. I don't know, but we shall see. The next one is this True Play thing. Now, the only thing I don't know what the hell it is. It doesn't really tell you what it is. It just says gaming is more fun when everyone plays fairly. So the only thing I can think of is it's some sort of anti-rage quitting thing. You know, if you're playing with Xbox, because obviously my PC games can play with Xbox games and vice versa now. So the only thing I can think of that being is something to do with to stop people rage quitting or whatever. But it's basically saying if you turn it off, you might not be able to play all the games. And then finally, you've got this Xbox networking tab. So, you know, it just tests your connection to how well you can connect to the Xbox One servers. I don't know why it's saying server connectivity blocked there for multiplayer. I presume it's only because I'm in beta and it's one of the gremlins of actually running a beta software. Oh, there you go. Some servers are experiencing issues, so that would probably explain why the server connectivity is blocked. So, but there you go. A bit of diagnostics there if you were playing a lot of Universal Windows platform games with your Xbox One, fellow Xbox One players. So, useful, nifty little tool there. The other things, now this is not specifically for gaming, but one thing I found quite useful is they've clearly taken cues from the Mac OS and iPhone, how they hand off to each other using the uh, continuity and handoff feature. And basically now you can install a little app on your iPhone or Android phone. I presume Windows Mobile just does it by default. And if I'm, say, looking at a web page, so I've got a web page open, I've just clicked the link in my Twitter app on my phone. Now, if I want to, I'm thinking, oh, that's a good article, I'll read it properly at home. I can now press the share button, and there will be now a continue on PC button. And basically, what that does, if I tap that, I'm signed in with a Microsoft account on my phone, and basically there'll be a continue now or continue later. If you hit continue later, there'll be a link pop up in the notification center there. If you hit continue now, this is where it gets cool. If I hit continue now, it's going to find my devices, because it will find all my devices running Windows, which I've got my MacBook Pro and obviously the Omen, which I'm running on now. The MacBook Pro isn't running this update, only the Omen is. So if I now tap the Omen, what then happens is, when it loads, there you go, the article I was reading on my phone has now popped up on my laptop, ready for reading in the big screen, which I think is a pretty cool idea. The only downside, as you could see there, is it fires it up in Edge rather than Chrome, which is Chrome is my default browser. I don't know if that's a bug of the beta or whether anything you do is going to just always use Edge, because old Cortana only ever used Edge, even if Chrome was your default. Also, on the Cortana note, if you do ever use that bottom search bar, which I don't, but if you ever use that, she now has a little mini web browser there, and then obviously you can click that and pop that up on, but again, uses Microsoft Edge. To be honest with you, I know I'm not really against Edge. I just use Chrome now because because it syncs me passwords across me various laptops and me history and stuff, so I can pick up what I was doing on my Mac and back to Chrome. So it's either way. The little sync to PC feature is send it to PC feature is pretty cool. The only downside is that they can't do it the other way round. Like, whereas on Mac OS, basically you could basically have a page open on your Safari on your Mac, and then it would pop up on your phone, and then you could go, right, continue it on my phone, and then you could view the same page on your phone. It only works one way. It only works phone to PC. Now, obviously, it's because Microsoft don't have any say in how the iOS or Android operating systems work. So the only thing I can think of is it may come, it may not, but I wouldn't hold my breath. But it's quite useful for if you're looking at a news story on your phone and you want to have a look at it on detail on the laptop. And that's about it, really. You've got this supposedly new Fluent design. Doesn't really look much difference, to be honest with you. I don't know. Looks alright, I guess. But yeah, doesn't look any different. Just looks like Windows 10 to me. Maybe a little bit nicer. I don't know, but it's such a subtle change. It's like when they changed the default font on an operating system. So when they changed the font between Mac Yosemite to El Capitan, it was such a minor change. You barely noticed it unless you were looking for it. But suppose this is all part of the new Fluent design. So yeah, all of that new nifty timeline feature, what was previewed at some Microsoft event a few months ago, that's not coming in this update, which is a shame because that looked pretty awesome. But yeah, that's not coming in this update. There is some extra thing like a little people bar there, which people could send you crappy little messages. I'm not really interested in that. So the only thing what does my nut in at the moment on this update, and I'm hoping there'll be a way to turn it off, is when I hit restart, it will reopen my last window that I had open. So if I had a Chrome tab open with a news story, if I hit restart, it will come back open and reopen Chrome again. Now, I hated it when Mac started doing it, but on the Mac, when you hit the restart button, there was the option to stop it doing that, which I disabled, whereas there doesn't seem to be the option on Windows. So I'm praying to God they bring that option in, because I really don't like having what I was doing before. When I restart a computer, I just want a nice clean desktop ready to go. I don't want what I was doing before, fired up, because if I restart a computer, I restart a computer. I want it to be restarted, ready to go, clean. I don't want all the crap I had open before open again. But yeah, that's about it really. It's one of those. It's not a massive. It's not going to be massive life changing differences. It's small little things. As I said, these GPU monitors are going to be very, very useful for me personally, because for me it'll just allow me to diagnose if a game's running like crap. I can go right, Control Alt Delete. Oh, right, there you go. That's why it's running like crap, because it's running on the Intel. Then I can know what each GPU is doing, and it's just a bit of extra monitoring without having to install a load of third-party software. So yeah, I quite like that. So hopefully this little video has been useful. If it is, leave a like, and yeah, I will catch you guys on the next one. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.